Welcome along to a special view from the commentary box, and we're a little bit closer to the pitch than I'm usually accustomed to, but we're at Walkerburn Rugby Club this evening, and we're going to be speaking about the current plights that the club finds itself in. After many fruitful years and days gone by, they've currently been suffering on some unfavourable conditions due to the current situation with COVID and also with player numbers in the region. So we've got across James Grieve, and we've got Gregor Skugel and Declan Cleghorn as well to discuss the club. And firstly, James, obviously it's been a difficult time pre-COVID, and Walkerburn had to withdraw from the league. What was the decision behind that?
Well, about 10 years ago, we really struggled to find young players coming into the club, and some of them decided they wanted to go to Peebles. That was a big sort of local team. So we're kind of trying to get a young side back and a bit of experience, and hopefully we're improving, ready to go back into a league. It's trying to get there now. So
the decision to come down out of the league was pretty much player numbers? It was
made before we kind of got back into it.
Yep.
So it was the other committee that sort of players' numbers, they just went down sort of really
down
fast.
Yeah. So. And then obviously COVID, it's one of the, we talk about it, it's a beautiful place to play rugby. There's a great view, but obviously COVID as well has kind of ground stuff to a halt, and trying to attract young players back to a club after what we've went through is challenging.
It is challenging, and we're trying the hardest. We're trying to put the name of Walkerburn Rugby Club back out there, and that's quite hard because obviously you've got Peebles one side, Galashills the other. We're stuck in the middle.
And with that, with the competition, is there any wiggle room to work with them, or?
No, really. We've had a lot of young boys that have sort of come. Well, they've come to the club since they've been about 16, 17, but they've sort of done training with us, but no, joining in. And these boys are ready to come through now, and they're bringing one or two from the school as well. So we've got quite a sort of nucleus, 18 to 24-year-olds.
Oh, good.
But we need a wee bit of experience in there as well.
So what's the plan? Obviously COVID's difficult, and you play social rugby. So what is the plan from now until what is the long-term objectives of Walkerburn Rugby Club? It's
basically get our team back out onto the pitch and get into a reserve league or a league that we can play a decent standard of rugby, and hopefully the young boys enjoy it and see what happens from there, to be honest.
So I know you've got a playing top on, but I hope for your sake that you're not going to be playing. But obviously you've got a couple of younger guys here, Gregor and Liam. Gregor, you're a local.
Yeah.
And what does it mean for you to play for Walkerburn Rugby Club?
Yeah, I mean it's amazing. I never played rugby when I was a young lad. It wasn't until about 5 years ago, working with James on a job, and they asked me to come along and got to play rugby, which I've always wanted to do, just never found the occasion, or didn't want to get involved in a bigger club like Pennycook or Peebles, and this was perfect. And it's been played 5 years, obviously a couple of years away with COVID and whatnot, but the years before that played a few games and stuff and had a great time with it. Yeah.
Declan, you've obviously came from Jed to the region here. What attracts you to come to Walkerburn Rugby Club?
Just kind of something to do during lockdown, really. Just get a bit bored sitting about, and then I'll join the rugby and came along. So it's about maybe 2 years ago first started rugby. Yeah, and so you're new to rugby as well? Aye.
So that's obviously it's difficult to try and attract players who have aspirations to play at a higher level, but obviously there's that comes back to the social aspect. How many social games are you getting?
Originally we were trying to maybe target 6 to 8 games in a season. Just to try and get the boys into rugby again. As the boys are saying, 5 years, it's no long in rugby, and we're trying to coach them the basics, and then after that, as long as they're enjoying that, hopefully they move on.
And obviously we do love, I think Stuart Cameron did, he kind of monkered at the Prince of the Sevens. This was the Sevens event here. I played here, it was my first senior game. And that's where I played. My first introduction to senior rugby was at Walkerburn Sevens, and I absolutely loved the day. It is such a big social event for the town, and what's the future looking like for the Sevens as well?
Well, we're trying to put our Sevens together for next month and cut it down to 8 teams, and we've had to sort of invite more sort of second team Sevens to come. So we've invited 4 from Edinburgh and 4 from the Borders, and having it in like a group stage with the 2 playing for the final sort of style.
And that's the preparations for that going well?
Yes, everybody's decided that they would like to come and play for our sevens here, and they've all come back to us and sort of said, yeah, we're up for it. So hopefully, provided we can get everything ready, it's going well.
Apart from the weather, you can't put it on the weather, but it's a good night tonight. And obviously from a player's point of view as well, it's important, new to rugby as well, coming in a club environment, it's important that you get these social occasions. I remember how great sevens was, going to Kings of the Sevens and playing down here as well. That must be something that you guys want to do as well.
Yeah, I'm really quite looking forward to this. I'd never been to the sevens here before, but looking forward to that starting. But definitely, I mean, the social side of the game, or games that we're playing, be it that or be it like an Old Crocs game or whatnot, it's it's a great atmosphere, a great day out and that kind of thing. It's good to be involved with.
So, in terms of getting players here, what happens next year for Walkerburn Rugby Club? I think I do think it's an important thing to have these clubs. We've been to Earlston, we've been to Gala YM, were in the same league. They're finding the same troubles of getting players, but they have such an important place in rugby, in grassroots rugby. We discussed it off air about how it's maybe not supported up as well as it should be. But what are Walkerburn's, next season when things start, what are Walkerburn going to be doing?
Well, hopefully, all going well, we're going to get into a reserve league. I think there's maybe 5 or 6 teams in it. That gives you 12 games. And hopefully, if we can get a good start to that, it'll maybe encourage younger boys to come back to the club, who's never even played rugby before. And we can try and coach them into, decent players.
Yeah, and how many players have you got just now?
We're averaging about sort of anything between 12 and 15 boys, quite comfortable. On a Saturday, training is probably about maybe 8 to 10 if you're lucky.
So get a few more.
Hopefully get a few more.
Yeah, get a few more and then you can get those social games. And, especially being in a competitive league, it certainly helps kind of build the club. Right. And finally, you played for Walkerburn
many years ago.
Many years ago. We're just trying to envisage this in black and white, but you played for Walkerburn many years ago. How important is it having a rugby club in the community?
I think it's very important because it's like the hub of the town or the village, and without Walkerburn Rugby Club here, there's not a lot else for Walkerburn. So we're trying to keep it as long as we can, and hopefully we can, move on and enjoy it. And it's you guys that need to get the money over the bar. That's what's
this is it.
That's what's needed. That's what the sevens is about. Well, I wish you all the best in the future. Hopefully you get a successful sevens behind you. You get into the reserve league and you can taste some rugby here. And it'll be hopefully you can go from strength to strength and start to build more structure here at the club and become a permanent fixture in Scottish rugby.